Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. And today we're going to look at something I picked up at Dayton. This is from Alpha Antennas. I met the owner while I was there. One of the things he gave me was this Alpha Antenna HOA Buster. This is the user guide. It's version 2.1, and it consists of this. This is one of the biggest nails I've ever seen, and it's been polished up. Wow. Anyway, this is the ground rod here. Okay, so it's shipped with this up here. So the first thing we have to do is tighten that down. The rest of it consists of something in this black box, or black tube, I guess. I tried undoing the screws, but it won't come apart. I suspect it's been glued. So there'll be a coil or something in there for this. So the thing is, the idea is that you take this cable right here, clip it to your gutter, and this will turn your gutter into an antenna. And I'm assuming that if the gutter has a downspout touching the ground, that you'd probably want to put that up when you're not actually using it. So we're going to tighten these screws. It takes a 7/16 wrench to tighten them. And then we're going to go outside and plug this into the gutter and see what we get. We'll look at it like we would any other antenna. Now, mind you, we are in the middle of a drought. Okay, so the soil is dry as a bone. We've had no meaningful rain in months. And it's supposed to be our monsoon season, but boy, there doesn't seem to be anything that even is approaching significant rainfall. We had a little bit, a couple cloud bursts a week or so ago, but didn't last long. Okay, so let's go outside and try this. I've got some LMR 400 right here. We'll connect it through a lightning arrestor, stick this in the ground, connect it to our gutter, and see what we get. Okay, here we are. We've got, this is where all the lightning arrestors are, right here. And we're going to hook it to this gutter right here. So this has got to go into the ground. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll find out. This is ground as hard as a rock. Let's try this right here. I'm going to rub this back and forth a little bit so I can get through the paint. And then this end we will attach to in here. Okay, we have A, F, there's F. F is not taken, so we'll pop that out with something. Okay, we'll come up through here, attach it to the lightning arrestor. This is where it really finds ground. So this is a little thing here. We've got it pushed into the ground, attached to the gutter here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we've got the radio here on antenna A, and antenna A is the ham radio boutique little 49-to-1 Ballon setup for 80 meters out there. It goes 80 through 10, and it gives us nice results. Okay. Yeah, I'm just hearing noise. Okay, let's turn it back to A.
Over 3 weeks ago, and I thought, okay, it's going to ship, and I should have checked that before I paid the rest, because 15 to 20 working days, so
okay,
we'll find out.
Now let's go to our good,
yeah,
which I don't have turned on. We need to turn this on. This is the Step IR, Big IR, and this is the controller for it, and it'll do one band at a time. You just tell it which band. So let's go to 14, and we'll get a nice signal on that. Takes a while to get in position. It's mechanical. It's actually moving an antenna element. Okay.
I'm never having problems. I've always managed to get what I ordered, but I didn't have to put any money up on it either, so that was a good thing. Yeah, I had a pre-order on the G2, but it wasn't all that much. I think it was,
This right here is the long wire, not the long wire, the infed half wave. Now let's go from there over to the gutter antenna, and all I am getting is noise, just noise. You're hearing the other signal in there a little bit. Boy, I'm not getting much. Okay, this is A, which is the infed half wave, 80 through 10.
The people I've spoken to that...
Okay, let's do the...
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you are starting to fade a bit, so I will let you go.
Boy, that antenna is working really well. This is the one with the ham radio Boti, 49 to 1. Okay, but the bottom line is all we get on that gutter antenna is noise, I'm afraid. Not getting much of anything. Well, the bottom line of the test here is that we're not getting anything on this HOA buster. Well, that was pretty disappointing, wasn't it? We were hoping something more from that. Now, I'll admit my gutters are pretty minuscule. I've got one in the back, actually two in the back, that keep the rain flow off the deck so it doesn't ice up so much. And then we've got one over the garage that's a little iffy because it's on the east side, and so it doesn't stay warm on the west side and can ice over. And then we've got one in the front of the house that I actually run heater strip through so that it will avoid creating a great big ice pond on our sidewalk. So I don't have much in the way of gutters. Now, I was looking around the internet at what other people had to say about this antenna. And somebody said, well, if it doesn't work right away for you, just attach 60 feet of wire to it and put it somewhere. So that's what we did. We attached 60 feet of wire to it. The thing was still on the ground outside where I have all my lightning arresters. Attached 60 feet of wire, and this is what happened. 60 feet wire. Okay, this is the entire HF band from 80 meters here to 10 meters here. So here's 2.0 for SWR, and as we see, it's not below that very much. Now, it's below 3 to 1 a lot of the time. So if you have a wide range tuner, you could tune this. Most radios these days do not come with wide range tuners. So you'd have to use an external tuner. But I looked at this and I said, look at these nice low spots here. What would happen if we could move them down? Maybe we could get this one closer to 40 meters, or get this one, which is real good right here on 17 meters, get that down on 10 meters. So what we did is we went out and added 14 more feet to that to see what we could do. Now, this is a very promising diagram. Look, that 40 meters, we see we're under 2 to 1 across the entire band. If you added a little bit more, you could pull this thing right over to here and beyond 40 meters. The same here. This is a little high for 20 meters, but the band is still under 2 to 1. The band's under 2 to 1 here on 17 meters, under 2 to 1 for 15 meters, and pretty nice here, about 1.4 or so for 12 meters. And then in the 10 meter band, it's not so good. So now that we've got it in this configuration, I thought we ought to look at it on the radio. And here is my Alpha Delta switch 4-way. This is the rig right here. This is a little lightning arrestor thing right there to stop transients from getting into anything. Okay, this one right here is my step IR big IR, okay, which this is the controller for it down here. Okay, and we've got this set up for 14.1 megahertz, and this will cover pretty much the 40 meter band. Now continuing up here, we have this right here is to our test lead out there, and right now that's running up the 30-foot tower to the Ham Radio Boutique 49-to-1 Ballon, and we've got stretched onto that thing, some 120, 140, somewhere in there, number of feet of wire stretched really tight, and it is performing beautifully. And then this F1 here used to be my hex beam, and the hex beam is destroyed, so took that down, and now we're using this one for the antenna under test. So let's look at the screen right here, and what I'm going to show is a signal that's pretty constant, and that's all the FT8 signals, okay? Now, if we look at this, we are on the Chelegant's 49-to-1 Ballon with about 120 feet of wire. Okay, you get about an S9 when you add up all the FT8 signals. Okay, now we're going to go from the test antenna to the step IR. If you look at the strength as I flip back and forth, okay, there's not much difference. They're both good antennas. Okay, let's go down here to the antenna under test, and we're getting about an S3, S4, okay, and we know it's there because that's the right frequency for it, and we can kind of hear it, okay, but we are, if let's say that's okay, S5 right now, S4, we're 5 full S units below. And this is even with the lengthened wire. Now let's go back to the other antennas. And we see here it kind of is averaging about S9 coming into the antenna on both of them. I can't tell much difference flipping back and forth. But if we go to the antenna under test, it's pretty bad. Okay, let's turn this off and we'll finish talking about it. So the bottom line is this. I didn't get any performance out of the little alpha antenna HOA buster with the experiments that we tried. Now, I will grant you that the wire we put up was designed to be below the level of the house. So it would be kind of an HOA type of thing that you could put up and keep out of sight, like by hanging it under your gutters or something like that. I do not know what is in the box. I am assuming that there is a loading coil of some kind, because this is supposed to work on 80 meters too. And it even says 1.8 megahertz, okay, which is 160 meters, which I find to be a stretch. Now, the way the instructions are set up, you can use the antenna across all the HF bands plus the MF, the medium frequency bands, of 160 meters on up through 10 meters. And he even says it will work to 54 megahertz. So I'm not getting good results with it. I would recommend that if you are interested in getting this, that you note that getting something resonant on one frequency means it's probably not resonant on another unless you do something special. So go find somebody who already has one of these and take a look at it and how well it performs. It obviously performed better once we added its own piece of wire to it, but definitely not spectacularly so. It was 5 S units. Each S unit is 6 dB, so 5 S units would be 30 dB. Now 30 dB happens to be a gain of 1,000. So the antenna, in my experience, just what we showed here, is only 1,000th as sensitive as a nice end-fed half wave up about 30 feet, or a full ground-mounted vertical right on the ground out in the trees there. That normally is my best antenna, but the current end-fed half wave I have right now is giving it a real run for its money. But cutting your signal by 1,000, that's 5 S units times 6 apiece, 30 dB. That's 1/1000th of the signal. This does not look promising. So go find someone who has one, make your own decision, and have at it. Until we next meet, 73.